Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and boy, did I get a lot of questions when I asked people if they wanted me to answer some questions, ask me anything. This is episode number 100 of our 365 episodes in 365 days, one-a-day video challenge, and I say our when I mean it's mine, but hopefully you're getting some benefit from this. So I was deluged with questions. This is going to be more than one session. Which I'm actually kind of pleased about. I was hoping that these videos weren't just going off into the ether and not being helpful to people, and I could tell from the engagement that it was reaching some people, and it was reaching some people in a very profound way, and some people not so much, but I think we're doing a fairly decent job of it. Now, I'm going to answer this following question as a way to sort of preview why it's going to be more than one set. I got two different questions. Why are your videos so short? And why are your videos so long? So I guess I'm right where I want to be. These videos are supposed to be between 5 and 8 minutes long. Sometimes they're a little longer. I try not to go less, because YouTube kind of penalizes you if your videos are shorter than 5 minutes in terms of placement and reach and all that sort of thing. So I want to go at least 5 minutes long. But I don't want to do 20-minute long videos. I don't want to do 30-minute long videos, hour-long videos for a couple of reasons. Number one, mindshare. I am very well aware that you have plenty of options for listening to things, podcasts, newscasts, television shows, radio shows, music, audiobooks. You've got all kinds of options. And so I want to make sure that I am succinct and that I am efficient about how I do these things and not take up too much of that mind share. Also, when I worked for America Online, we used to do focus group sessions every 6 months or so. And one of the things that we would test was how long could we maintain someone's attention before they were interrupted with some other competing technology, the phone, the television, even their family, email, something else going on their computer. And the answer, 99 times out of 100, was 5 to 7 minutes. And so that 5 to 10 minute range, that 5 to 8 minute range, seems to be a reasonable balance between not being able to get deep into any subject at all and being so deep into it that instead of it being like a nice bite-sized digestible chunk, it turns into this like banquet that leaves you bloated. It's like it's hard to like wade through it. Plus, it's just me talking, and really, who wants to see me talk more than that amount of time? So that's our first question. Next, what was or is going on in radio that made you leave the industry? Oh, that's a great question. So in the first part of my career, I was in radio from 1976 until 2008 or so. So just over 30 years. And I still went back to radio from time to time for the next 5 years or so. But what was going on in the latter part of my career was syndicated radio. Now, the difference is doing radio locally, you go to work for a radio station every day, you're on the air for a certain amount of time, you get paid by the hour, you get a salary, whatever it is, and you're heard in that local market. Syndicated radio is network radio or radio where you're heard on more than one station, or you're heard on the satellite and terrestrial stations. And that was the bulk of my work for the last probably 20 years or so. I'm going to say 15 years or so. And what happened in that same 15 years is that the United States government passed the Communications Act of, I think it was 1995, that allowed companies to buy an unlimited number of AM stations, FM stations, and television stations. In addition, they were given permission to have their own syndication wings. So what is now, I believe, iHeartRadio or radio.com, one of them used to be Clear Channel, and they had Premier Radio Networks. So they had the Clear Channel radio stations, probably some 400 of them across the country. When they were all said and done, they started scooping up all of these things. And they had Premier Radio Networks, which was their syndication wing. Now, the thing is, all of their individual radio stations were told, you must take programming from our syndication company if you're going to take programming from syndication at all. So it was very difficult for me as an independent syndicator to get my radio shows on stations that were owned by one of the big three at the time. Now, I had some really outlier stations like WGN in Chicago, which wasn't owned by the big three, and WOR in New York. And I was on XM and Sirius before they merged. So I had some advantages, but by the time 2007, 2008 rolled around, it was just a cesspool of a business to work in. And it was losing relevance. It was losing what's called the signal strength, not of the transmitters and stuff, but the signal strength of radio. Radio in particular is a medium that has lost some of its luster to television, to the internet, to streaming, to podcasting, to audiobooks. Sure, it still reaches close to 100%, over 99% of the population in the United States. Everybody in the United States lives within the reach of a radio station. But do they actually use radio the way they used to? And the answer is absolutely not. Tell kids today about your favorite jocks, your favorite DJs, your favorite talk show hosts. They won't know what you're talking about. Oh, they have favorite podcasters. Oh, yeah, sure. And I have favorite channels on, Spotify and Pandora. Yeah, oh, yeah. And I think my mom listens to some station that plays like, Kenny Loggins music. She likes country. I don't know. But the idea that radio held a big, huge place in my life growing up, it's just not the same for kids anymore. And then finally today, and we're going to pick up with the next set of questions tomorrow. Can you recommend a safe and reliable ad blocker for Mac? And the answer is no. I don't recommend ad blockers at all, because ad blockers always have false positives, meaning they block things they aren't supposed to block. I would use Chrome's pop-up blocker. It's built into the Chrome web browser, but I don't run ad blockers at all. I also happen to have an attitude against ad blockers because I market online, and I think if you're, an honest broker when it comes to your marketing, you shouldn't be in a situation where if something is ad supported, you shouldn't be in a situation where people are blocking that ad support, which pays for the content. So I have a sort of a philosophical bent to get it, but just a technical bent. The pop-up blocker with Chrome works great. I haven't seen any ads whatsoever. If you're talking about getting rid of the ads on a page, I find that to be just a little bit reprehensible, because that page is being paid for not by you with a subscription or you with an access payment, but by the advertisers that are there. So I say, give the people that are creating that content what they're due and don't block the ads. That's the way I look at it. And that'll do it. I'm really happy that you have asked so many questions. We're going to get to more next time around. I don't know how many of these AMAs I'll be doing before I get to the end of the list, but we'll take them one little video at a time. If you'd like to join my YouTube channel and know when these videos are coming out, go ahead and click on my head there. If there's no head there, there's a subscribe button somewhere on the page. And if you want to see the latest video I've done, click on that frame and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th, where you could have asked me anything. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.